guys, we're back again, and today we're checking out another one of the really popular and expensive car audio amplifiers from Power Acoustik, the Razor series. And this is the Razor 3500D. There's a lot of stuff out there on the the Walmart version. This one was kind of a little bit of a question mark. So in the series they have 3 of these amplifiers, mono amplifiers, and this is the highest power one, so I wanted to check it out because, as everybody knows, for budget amps these are a really good deal. They put out pretty good power and they're inexpensive and they're really reliable, so even though they're not the most powerful amps, these are pretty solid and reliable compact amplifiers that are cheap if you want to get a system going. So we're going to check out this big boy of the Razor series, the 3500D. And this one, there was some confusion on the box. I guess there was some misprints at one point. So this is rated on the box. It says 3500 watt max, but 900 times 1 at 4 ohm, 1400 times 1 at 2 ohms, and 2100 it says times 2 at 1 ohm. So that's kind of weird. What is that? 2100 watts times 2 at 1 ohm? So that's a little weird, but check it out. So when we go to the manual, now it shows the 3500 at RMS power at 1 ohm, 2100 times 1. So I think that's just a typo, but we'll get to the bottom of it soon and throw it on the dyno and see what it does. But it just has the standard plastic bass knob, nothing fancy, but it is solid and not wobbly and nice and smooth. So for a cheap bass knob, I don't see any problems with it. Virtually the same size as the other Razors, really small. Nothing fancy. You got your standard low pass inputs, remote input, high level connector, so if you want to hook up to your speakers and not a preamp. 8 gauge inputs, 2 40 amp fuses, so I'm questioning that 2100 watts with 2 40 amp fuses, but we'll see. 8 gauge speaker outputs, that's good. So we got 8 gauge power inputs and 8 gauge speaker outputs. So I kind of like these because they're pretty small. They're only about maybe like 6 inches wide by 12 inches, so they're pretty compact. But let's go ahead and throw it on the dyno and see what happens. Alright guys, we're all set up for the 4 ohm test, 40 hertz. Let's see what we get. Up to clipping. Alright, so we got 294 watts at 4 ohms, 30 amps, 14.4 volts. Alright, let's see what we get at the 2 ohm. Alright, 2 ohm test is ready on the DL14. So let's go ahead and turn that on. Alright, here we go. 2 ohms, 40 hertz. Come on, Razor 3500. Oh, looks like we just broke 500 watts. 508 watts, 56.5 amps at 2 ohms. I thought this would get a little bit more, being the biggest brother of the Razor family, but let's see. Let's go ahead and check out what the 1 ohm test does. Alright, so this is the 1 ohm test. Let's see if this big brother of this Razor series actually puts out more. But this does have 1 ohm stable operation, so that's nice, because the other Razors are only capable of 2 ohms. So let's see what she does here. 40 hertz to clipping. 1 ohm. Oh, okay. Now I did do this test a couple times. I didn't show it to you guys, but it's right about 750 to 800 watts, so it's a lot less than rated. But let's go ahead and try a dynamic burst test and see if it gives us a little bit more. These tests I usually do are uncertified, and that way you can kind of compare them to other guys with the AD1 dynos. So let's go ahead and try a RMS dynamic burst test on this. Alright, here we go, dynamic burst, 40 hertz. Let's see if we can get a little bit more out of it. 1 ohm. Alright, looks like it was about the same. Didn't have a lot more room to squeeze out. 850 watts at 1 ohm. Okay, well, it's not what I expected, to be honest. I thought this one was going to kind of maybe be a little sleeper amp, but you know, they're still solid, they're still reliable. So I'll leave that up to you guys, but there's the numbers for you.